Hi everybody and welcome. My name is Luke and this is the Science Lens, where I show you how science can improve your critical thinking skills. In this week's episode, we're talking about anecdotal evidence. I'm going to start with an example from the show Seinfeld and then explain why anecdotal evidence is so much less reliable than scientific evidence. Then I'll show you how you can think critically when presented with anecdotal evidence, and finally, practice those critical thinking skills with another example. Okay, let's get started. One of my favorite shows of all time is Seinfeld, and in this clip from the episode called The Muffin Tops, Kramer tries to tell Jerry why he shouldn't shave his chest.
Lady Gillette? Oh, what's going on? Hey, what? Jeez.
Can't I get a moment's peace?
What are you doing to yourself?
I can't stop! Alex thinks I'm naturally hairless.
You can't keep this up. Don't you know what's gonna happen? Every time you shave it, it's gonna come in thicker and fuller and darker.
Oh, that's an old wives' tale.
Is it? Look at this.
What is that?
Look at it! Look at it! It's all me. I shaved there when I was a lifeguard.
In this clip, Kramer tries to convince Jerry that his chest hair will become thicker and blacker, as if this is something that happens all the time to people that shave their chest. Showing his own chest hair certainly seemed to make an impression on Jerry, but Kramer's story about what happened to him is unfortunately no more than anecdotal evidence. Anecdotal evidence is when someone uses a personal story to support their claim instead of data. So in the Seinfeld example, Kramer used the fact that he used to shave his chest and now his chest hair is thick and black to try to convince Jerry that the same thing will happen to him. Anecdotes are a really powerful way to convey a point because storytelling played such an important role in the evolution and culture of early humans. So we often have a strong emotional reaction to a good story. But the power of anecdotes to change a person's mind vastly outweighs their reliability, as opposed to data, which is less interesting but far more reliable. And here's why. Anecdotes are a sample size of one. Good scientific studies, on the other hand, consist of hundreds or even thousands of trials. Variables are not controlled. In a scientific investigation, scientists manage anything that could affect the results of the experiment. With anecdotes, it's impossible to know how many factors could have affected the outcome. You can't establish causation, meaning that you can't be sure that one thing caused the other. For example, it's possible that Kramer's chest hair was always going to grow thick and black, and he just assumed it was because he shaved his chest. People can misremember or exaggerate details. Our brains are magnificent tools, but they're also squishy and unreliable, and the way we interpret, remember, and recount events is often not exactly what happened in reality. People often use anecdotes to support their points in casual conversations, like that person that justifies their choice to smoke because their grandma smoked every day and lived to 100. Or maybe they say that it's okay for them to speed because they've never been in an accident. In the media, you might see anecdotes used as testimonials for products, in social media posts, or to sensationalize news stories. Of course, anecdotes can also be used for good. For example, sometimes people can use them to put a human face on a set of data showing how a particular problem affects real people. But whether anecdotes are used for the right or wrong reasons, it's important for us to understand that using them to replace data is a logical fallacy. And when making big decisions, we should always try to base our choices on reliable information rather than a compelling story. Now, before I continue, I just wanted to pause and say that if you're enjoying the video so far, please go ahead and click the like button below and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more videos like this one. Okay, continuing on. So now that we know that using anecdotes as evidence is a logical fallacy, how can we think about them more critically? Well, the first thing that we can do is to consider the probabilities involved. Let me show you how with an example. Let's say a friend told you not to travel to Spain because they once went and they were pickpocketed. To get an idea of the odds that the same would happen to you if you traveled to Spain, you would need to find out the number of people who go there and are pickpocketed, the number of people that go to Spain and are not pickpocketed, and then compare that to the number of people that travel to your home country and are pickpocketed versus the number of people that travel to your home country and are not pickpocketed. That will allow you not just to consider your odds of being pickpocketed on a trip to Spain, but also whether or not your wallet is safer if you stay at home. Next, we need to think about any other factors that might have been involved. So for example, did your friend spend a lot of time in areas that are known to have a lot of pickpockets? Or did they wear loose-fitting pants with the wallet sticking out the top? There could be any number of variables that influence your friend's chances of being pickpocketed that may or may not apply to you. Finally, we need to consider the reliability of the person's testimony. Now, by this, I don't mean to say that a person would lie about what happened necessarily, but they could have misinterpreted or misremembered the event. So in the pickpocketing example, the person probably didn't misremember their wallet going missing, but it's possible that they just left it at a cafe, or maybe it fell out of their pocket on the train, and they just assumed that they were pickpocketed. People can also exaggerate stories when trying to make a point. So for example, if the person had a bad trip to Spain, they might describe it as the worst trip ever or the trip from hell, but it might not be as bad as that. By the way, to all my Spanish friends, lo siento, I've been to Spain and it's lovely. I'm honestly not trying to dump on you. I just needed an example. Now, before I go on, it's important to note that if a person is sharing their story, you shouldn't come back at them with comments like, oh, pickpocketing in Spain isn't that common. You were probably just dumb and left your wallet on the train. Because having your wallet stolen would be a very upsetting experience. So first and foremost, you should empathize with them. Because this kind of thinking isn't about trying to win an argument. It's about deciding whether one person's unfortunate story should affect your decision making. So let's practice our new critical thinking skills with an example. Anthony William is better known to some as the medical medium, and under that brand name he's published a number of books promoting wellness through diet. On the front page of the Medical Medium's website are a series of testimonials from people who have had success using his products, including this one from a woman telling the story of how the toxic fragrance exposure shot improved her pain from rheumatoid arthritis.
So I tried another Medical Medium shot from the Brain Saver Protocols book, and this time it was the toxic. I'm a little giddy. It was the toxic fragrance exposure. It didn't say anything about making pain go away, but not 60 seconds after taking it, I had such a relief of my RA pain.
Now, I'm genuinely glad that this woman found relief, and I don't want to take anything away from her experience. But before I go out to buy a copy of one of the Medical Medium's books, I want to think critically about this anecdotal evidence. Consider the probabilities involved. To understand the probability that the toxic fragrance exposure shot could help others with their arthritis pain, we would need to find out how many people took the shot and found relief, how many people took the shot and didn't find relief, how many people didn't take the shot but felt relief anyway, and how many people didn't take the shot and didn't feel relief. Think about the other factors involved. Now, while it's possible that the shot helped with the woman's pain, it's also possible that it was something else she did that day, or even just that the pain disappeared on its own. The placebo effect can be very powerful when it comes to pain, so it's also possible that she only felt better because she expected to. Consider the reliability of the person's testimony. The woman in this video seems very excited about the relief that she's experiencing, and it's possible that her excitement is causing her to overstate the effect of the shot. Again, I'm not trying to take anything away from this woman's experience because it's great that her pain improved. But one person's story is just one data point, and in science, one data point is never enough. On top of that, the fact that the information in anecdotes can be very flawed means that they're generally not a reliable source of data. As humans, though, we're pre-wired to have an emotional reaction to a good story and tend to place more value on them than we should. But while anecdotes can seem powerful and have a powerful effect on their audience, the real power lies in rigorous data and evidence. Well, that's it from me for today, but if you'd like some resources to help practice the concepts that I covered, I recommend that you check out my store on TPT. There I have a range of worksheets and templates for teaching critical thinking in the science classroom, and you can find the link to those down in the description below. Also, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos on how science can improve your critical thinking skills. And finally, I used a bunch of resources to help put this video together today, so if you'd like more information on the things that I covered, I recommend that you check those out. They're down in the description below as well. For now though, that's it from me. Thanks for watching.